Hello out there. I wanted to welcome you all to Spectrum Straight Talk. This is a new video cast that I'm doing where I'm going to be talking to you guys about issues related to being spectrum relationships. And I'm going to also be interviewing professionals who also work with autism spectrum relationships and families, and also some of you. I'm going to have some of you on here. So today, though, my topic for you, it's just me. I'm not interviewing anybody. But my topic for you is that I want to talk about how to get through, how to deal with this coronavirus pandemic when you're in an autism spectrum relationship. So this is tough, guys. I know it's tough on you. Our routines are changed. Our lives have been turned on its ear. And for so many of you who are in spectrum relationships, this is hard. This is hard stuff. And some of you are not only in relationships with someone on the spectrum, but you have children on the spectrum too. So I've got my notes here. So one of the first things that I want you to do if you're a spouse or a partner of someone who's on the spectrum is I want you to sit down and I want you to make a list of every way that he shows you or she shows you that he loves you. And I want you to really stop and think not how you want to be loved, but how does he love you? And if you've ever done love languages, if you've looked into that, that's something to think about. You know, does he do things for you? Does he solve problems for you? Does he tell you he loves you? Does he, what does he do to love you? I want you to make a list of these things so you can be paying close attention to when you're receiving love from him, because we're all so wrapped up in this chaos right now that you might miss it if you're not aware of it. So sit down and make a list. Think of the last week or the last month, the last year, ways and times that you realized that he was loving you, and make a list of those things. And so pay attention to when those things are happening. And so number two, I want you to tell him specifically what you need from him that's within his range of ability. So meaning, when you take into consideration the ways that he shows you he loves you, and what I mean by within his range of ability, if your guy, and I'm going to use guy, men, I'm talking to you too if you're in a relationship with a woman on the spectrum, but just for the ease of conversation, I'm going to use guy. If your guy is not highly emotional, then you're not going to get a lot of touchy-feely, especially right now in the middle of a pandemic crisis where everybody's nerves are on edge. So if he's not touchy-feely and you really kind of need the touchy-feely, that's not going to be something you're going to tell him. I need you to be touchy-feely. I need you to be emotional, because that's not within his range of ability. No matter how bad you want it, that's not within his range of ability. So you want to look at the things that he's capable of. So what can he do for you that you need? Can he and will he watch the kids for you? Will he help you get the house cleaned up? What are some of the things that are normally things that he can do, and that when you look at everything that's changing in your life, what do you need and what can he do for you? So, what can he give you a back rub, a cook dinner for you? Just those are some of the things off the top of my head. So, okay. Number three, focus on what's already working well, and what he already does really well. So if he's like really watching all the stats about this virus and the infection rates, and he's paying attention to the news, and he's really watching what about the closures and things, if that's like his special interest focus right now, then go with it, because he can keep your family up to date. He can keep your family well informed of what's going on out there. So whatever he's already doing well, and whatever's working well, maximize that and make sure you notice that those things are beneficial to your family. Sometimes your guy may be doing things that you don't really understand how they're benefiting your family, but stop and take some time to consider why those things may be important to him, and why he's needing that. So and be sure and focus on what's working well. So again, now in the middle of a crisis, this is not the time to focus on what you wish for your relationship, what you wish you had in a relationship. So, you know, again, like if he's stockpiling, I've had lots of women tell me that their husbands are stockpiling. Let him do it. You're gonna be fed. You know, let him do it. Let him focus on that. Let him hyper focus on that. But try not to, you know, take away from that by thinking, well, I really just want him to put his arms around me and hold me. And if that's not something that he's comfortable with, then that's not the place to put your energy and your focus. Maybe that's what you wish for, but right now is not the time to focus on what you don't have or what your relationship's not, because this is a crisis situation. We have to pull together and focus on what we can do, what he can do well, what you can do well. And so you want to focus on the things that are going well. Now's not the time to try to change him or to change things up about your relationship. Okay, number 4. Now, this is a more practical strategy. I want you to establish zones in your house for him, for you, for your kids, if you have kids. And particularly, your husband's going to need a safe zone. And you do too. He needs a place. I was on the phone with a man this week who's on the spectrum. And his wife she's kind of more of her personalities. She doesn't mind the chaos and the mess and the lack of structure. And he was like, I just need a room where nothing changes. Nothing is out of place. And when I go back in there, everything's the way I left it. And he particularly needs this right now when everything's in such a state of flux and change. So establish those safe zones. And even if you have a small house, it may even be a corner of a room that's his, and the kids are not allowed over there. And you give him your word that you're not going to go over there and rummage through his stuff. That's his space. Now you need it too. I'm a mom. I know it's hard for us moms sometimes to have our space, and we are martyrs sometimes, and we do not demand that space for ourselves. But right now we're looking at weeks, months that this pandemic is not going to be over. I'm recording this right now in March. It's March 18th today, but we're looking at here in the United States that this could be still going on in July and August, that we're still having our kids and you know, we're all stuck at home together. We have to take care of ourselves, because most of us moms, we are the glue that holds our family together. Now, dads, I'm not knocking you. You guys have important roles in your family. But moms, we're that social glue. And so we have to take care of ourselves. You have to have a space in your house that's yours. And you have to close the door and not allow your toddlers in there, and not allow your dogs. My dog tries to come into the bathroom with me. I have to close the door. And this is a conversation that you can have with your husband, because this is something that he ought to be able to help reinforce for you. That you need a safe zone, a place that you get, 5-minute breaks, 10-minute breaks. Maybe it's taking a bath at the end of the day, or just sitting on the toilet without somebody coming in. I tell my kids, unless you're bleeding out, don't bother me when I'm in the bathroom. And I know some of you have babies, and you may or may not be comfortable leaving your little ones out without you, but put them down for their naps. Enlist your older kids to help. Talk to your family about this is a team effort, and establish the concept that you have to have your space. Show this video to your husband if you want, to your spouse. That I'm saying this, that you got to have your space so that you can help take care of everybody else, because being a martyr is not going to help you at all, and it's not going to help your family. You have to take care of yourself and have that safe zone. Preferably a bedroom or a den or somewhere, and make sure you establish some time to read or do something that re-energizes you. And that's actually, I'm going to get to that in number 5. But kids also, by the way, they need their spaces too. They need to have a space where they can get all their energy out and be noisy. And that may be going into the backyard. This quarantine doesn't mean we can't go out and get fresh air. We're not limited to our houses. So, if you have a basement or even just their bedrooms, you know, they need to be able to be loud, and they need to be able to jump, and they need to be able to get that energy out. But if you have kids on the spectrum, which a lot of you, if you're in a relationship on the spectrum and you have children, a lot of your children are on the spectrum too, they need some safe zones too, where there's structure and there's routine and things don't change. So you know your children better than anybody. You know what they need. You know that they either need structure, or they need a place where they can get, you know, their energy out. If you've got room in your house, you can set up little sensory areas with, you know, you can order, I think Amazon's still delivering. If you can get bean bags, or where they can crash on, or just roll them up in comforters and squish them, and, you know, just give them, you know, sensory activities to do. But make sure they have spaces where they can do these things, or they're all going to lose their minds, and so will you, and so will your spouse, your partner who's on the spectrum. And so the goal here is for us to get through this pandemic with our relationships intact, our relationships with our spouses, our partners, and with our children intact. Okay, so number 5, it's important that you guys have a routine. This routine of life has been totally disrupted. We're not going to school. We're not going to work. We're not going through the drive-through. We're not going to baseball. We're not going to dance. We're not going to gymnastics. We're not doing any of that. We need a routine at home. And somebody texted me a picture of their whiteboard yesterday, and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it was completely blank. You know, this is how she kept her week. She writes her schedule on her whiteboard on her refrigerator every day, and it was blank. And she said, this is just so strange to see nothing on there. So establish a calendar. Sit down with your family, or maybe you do it first, and figure out what your routine is going to be. You know, enlist your husband in this. You know, when do you want to get up in the mornings? When do you want to have breakfast? What kind of breakfast routine do you want to have? Lunch, in the mornings, you know, when are you going to do laundry? When are you going to do chores? When are you going to take walks? When are you going to get outside? When are you going to watch the news? Just have a schedule. And, you know, for kids on the spectrum, visual schedules are great. Picture boards, to say, you know, this, for younger kids. For older kids, my daughter is 17 and she's on the spectrum. She has Asperger's, or what we used to call Asperger's. And she's already struggling with not being in school. And she was telling me today, Mom, I can't, I'm having so much trouble focusing. Her school has gone digital, and she's having a hard time getting on social media and interacting with her friends, and she just can't focus. She doesn't have that structure anymore. So we talked about how we can even use screen time on, she has an iPhone. We can use screen time on her iPhone so that she can't, so the social media apps are not available during certain times of the day. And so that she can focus on school. So we know what hours of the day are going to be school for her. And then those apps will show up when she's not in the downtime part of the day. And this is important for not just spectrum kids, though, other kids, and for you, and for your spouse too. So set up that structure and that routine. So if any of you have any tips that you want to add to this, please drop them in the comments. I do love seeing your comments. And be sure to subscribe if you aren't already, because I've got these interviews coming down the pipeline for you. I have a super special interview coming up later today. It will not be live broadcast, but I'll get it up for you later this week. Super excited about it. And if any of you are professionals, or if you're interested in being on a video cast with me, shoot me an email to Jodi Carlton at spectrumrelationships.com. I'll put that in the description here, and we'll talk about it. So anyway, you guys stay well, stay home, stay healthy, and I will talk to you soon.